Le RockUrLife, c'est Sacha, il est 10h du mat, donc évidemment je suis chez moi en pyjama, oui j'ai un pyjama Snoopy, y a pas de... faut pas déconner. Et à 10h du mat, je me lève pour une bonne raison, à savoir recevoir chez moi, toujours dans mon salon, l'incroyable bassiste d'Anti-Flag, Chris #2, qui était là avant Twitter, quand même faut le préciser. Et même si pour lui il est 5h du mat quand même à Pittsburgh, il est là, tout frais, bien coiffé, juste en face de moi, salut Chris, pour répondre évidemment à mes questions, nous parler un petit peu plus du nouvel album d'Anti-Flag, American Spring. Alors je vais commencer par une question très intelligente Chris, je vous promets, c'est assez intelligent, tu vas voir. C'est simple, techniquement, est-ce que le fait que vous soyez là, sachant que vous êtes un groupe engagé, qui avait toujours des revendications à faire, c'est pas un échec de notre société?
Yeah, well, that's honestly, one side of the coin is that it would be really great if American Spring was a record about how beautiful Paris is in the springtime, but unfortunately, there's far greater issues to be singing about. Is it a failure, or is it a commentary on the fact that our vigilance needs to be and needs to match those that are trying to hold us back and those that are trying to oppress creativity and oppress humanity and oppress the ideas of equality? So I think that it's frustrating to see how far political music and music with an agenda and music with I guess the simple word is music with a conscience, how it seemed like it was everywhere for a while, and now it's seemingly nowhere when times are maybe at their most dire. So I don't often like to look around and see what other people are doing. I kind of like to keep my head down and focus just on the things that we can control, but it seemed alarmingly quiet. So for us as a band, the conversation we had was that there's no reason for Anti-Flag to release new music unless it's our best. So we took 3 years to make American Spring, and I personally feel like it's a great document of where we are as a society and where we can go from here. So it would be awesome if everyone was free to be themselves and you opened up this window over here and you saw people living in harmony as if injustice was erased from the world. But that's not the world we live in. So on one hand, it is a failure, but our goal was never to have it be looking up the word revolution in the dictionary and seeing our picture. Our goal was to inspire one person to change their life and better their life. And we've been fortunate enough to have that happen with many people.
Bah franchement, je suis d'accord avec toi. C'était une réponse beaucoup trop longue, mais je suis d'accord avec toi. Mais partons de ton principe. Mettons, il y a l'amour et la justice, c'est acquis. Rondoudou est élu président dès le premier tour, tout ça machin. Est-ce que vous, qui êtes un groupe à revendication, comme je l'ai dit, vous auriez toujours un intérêt à exister? Est-ce que vous arrêteriez le groupe?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we would definitely stop this band. This band has a very specific agenda. But I love music, and I think that it's a way for me to... there's a lot of times where I don't feel safe, where I feel uncomfortable, where I feel like an outsider, and what music has given me and what punk rock has given me has been a home, and that's something I don't really ever take for granted. It's something I'm very happy to have found, or else I don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing.
Alors j'ai lu quelque part, j'ai pas envie de dévoiler mes sources, en tout cas c'est pas Mediapart, que cet album, American Spring, parlait surtout de l'ère Obama. Alors pour nous en France, Obama c'est plutôt un mec cool, qui fait des blagues, qui chante la soul, et qui a l'air compétent. C'est quoi ton point de vue à toi?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is the level of disappointment that's come out of Obama, where he came in talking about shutting down Guantanamo Bay, and Guantanamo Bay is still open. He came in talking about healthcare for all Americans, and we have a healthcare system that's probably going to get pushed further backwards because of a mishandling of the unveiling of that system. The surveillance state, the amount of drone strikes that are happening in the Middle East, they're at an all-time high under Obama. So there's a tremendous amount to be upset about. I do think that he is by far the most eloquent president that I've ever seen, and that's something to be applauded. I just wish that the words lined up with some of the actions, and it's our job as citizens of the world to keep politicians in check, because we are the checks and balances. The way we vote, the way we spend our money, those things are where real, true power lies. So as much as competency is great, it's not something you settle for. You want to keep pushing until you have a president who's going to challenge the St. Louis Police Department whenever the death of Michael Brown happens in Ferguson, Missouri. You want a president who's going to challenge the New York City Police Department whenever Eric Gardner is murdered by the police. You want a president that's going to challenge the idea that we spend more on militarism in America than we do any social program. So having a president that's falling lock and step with George W. Bush or Bill Clinton or presidents before, that's not something we want to settle for. We want to always be continuing to push someone to be more progressive and to be more open to new and prospectively humanitarian ideas.
Ouais, vu comme ça, c'est vrai qu'on peut lui reprocher pas mal de choses. Mais attends, vois le bon côté des choses, hein. C'est quand même le président le plus marrant de l'histoire dans les late shows.
Yeah. He's been on all of them, and he's definitely the social media president. He's definitely connecting with young people in an unprecedented way, and I think that's very clever and something I applaud. I think that they really needed to do that with the healthcare program that they were unveiling, that because those were the people they wanted to get on the internet and sign up for it. So they were very smart to do that. Unfortunately, the whole world was watching the first 6 months of the Obama presidency. Yeah, and if he had come in and said, we want a universal healthcare system similar to what we have in Europe. So we want a universal education system similar to what we have 500 miles north in Canada. People would have said okay, but instead he tried to meet Republicans in the middle, and that's just a game that we didn't believe needed to be played.
Est-ce que c'est dur quand on politise un petit peu ces chansons d'être perspicace en 2 minutes 30?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily about the song, you know? I think that it's about what happens after the song. That's always been my take about it, because you can't say enough in 2.5 minutes.
Je le savais. Pardon, continue, juste un peu emballé.
So, for us, American Spring has a 30-page booklet and essays for every song and resource links that tie into each song. So hopefully you get fired up by the 2.5 minutes, and then you open up your laptop or turn on your phone or go outside, and
Just the intro.
It's just the intro. Yeah. It's the gateway drug to activism.
Toi, forcément, t'as dû en écouter beaucoup des chansons comme ça. D'ailleurs, est-ce que t'as une protest song préférée?
Well, there's a funny joke that Blue Suede Shoes is the first protest song. Don't step on my blue suede shoes. My personal space. So I always kind of go to that. I think that's a really kind of clever way to look at the fact that any song can be considered a protest song, or any song could have politics to it. But yeah, I think that as far as punk rock, political punk rock songs, I've always thought that California Uber Alice by the Dead Kennedys is the greatest political punk rock song. Times Are A-Changin', Bob Dylan is, an untouchable protest song. There's so many that we could run out the battery on the GoPro camera talking about them. Okay.
On va revenir sur l'album American Spring qui sortira le 25 mai, je le rappelle. Alors je l'ai écouté énormément de fois, cet album est juste génial, et le petit plus, c'est cette pochette, voilà, juste là. Elle est belle, hein, absolument incroyable, des couleurs flashy. Alors on voit, c'est une fleur qui explose, et moi ça m'a fait un petit peu penser au mouvement hippie. Il y a une image assez célèbre d'une gamine qui met une fleur dans un canon, et c'était un petit peu ça, les fleurs contre la violence.
Yeah, well, the idea for us was just commenting on how violence indoctrinated our society is. So you see this woman, you see this hyper-realist exploded flower over an archetypal face, whether it's a soldier, a Muslim woman, a cop, an African American or a black person in a hoodie. Everybody thinks why is that person being killed, or violence, or they have their own prejudice towards this person. But if you actually look at the cover, there's no violence at all. And that's just something to hopefully open the door for people to think and then walk through and hear the songs and find out more about what the band is and what the songs are about.
Alors, American Spring n'est pas qu'un album de revendication, c'est aussi un album de copains, hein, exactement comme toi et moi. Si, on est copains maintenant. T'as notamment Tim Armstrong, le leader de Rancid, qui vient sur un morceau. D'ailleurs, est-ce que tu l'as fait venir pour augmenter le ratio de tatouages dans le groupe?
Yes, yeah. I'm the only one with tattoos in the band, so I needed to get it up high.
Tattoo buddy.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was so cool because Tim is someone who's inspired me since I was a kid. So to have him in the studio singing lyrics that I wrote, and one of the lyrics he sings is, "She was searching for salvation in the things she buys," and I wanted so bad him to sing the word salvation because I love that song and I love Rancid as a band. So he would be in the studio and he would do a take of the song, and he was so cool and so amped on it. I emailed him the lyrics. I printed them out for him when he arrived, but he was adamant. He hand wrote them out, like, because he was like, oh no, he folded it back up in his pocket. I would have stolen it immediately. But I was trying so hard not to show him how much I adored him. So he would do a take, he would sing, and I'd be like, yeah, that was great, man. Well, let's do another one. And then I'd look at him and be like,
Et en plus de Tim Armstrong, il y a Jean-Michel Casquette, à savoir Tom Morello de Rage Against the Machine. Incroyable!
Yeah, he's been a great champion and ally and friend of our band since it was 2001 when we met Tom, and 1999 when we met him. We did dates on the Battle of Los Angeles tour. He called us and asked us to be a part of it. And, we've been friends ever since, and he produced an album of ours called The Terror State, and one of the songs on The Terror State is called Post-War Breakout. And he really changed that song. That's one of the songs that he influenced more than any other that we wrote. So when we were now doing American Spring, and we had this song Without End, and it had a similar beat and a similar vibe, I knew that the song Without End wouldn't exist without Tom touching our band and impacting our band all the way back in 2000. So I sent him the track and I was like, I would just love for you to play on this. I don't care what you play, anything you do. We'll give you as many bars as you want. You can play over the whole damn thing. The song wouldn't exist without you. Like, go for it. And he wrote an amazing guitar solo, and when he sent it to us, it was like 8 tracks, and we listened to him soloed like 5 or 6 times in a row, just everybody just jumping up and down. So it's so cool that these people have taken time out of their lives to be a part of something that's so important to us, A, but B, just to see the camaraderie around punk rock and around music that forms, and we're very fortunate to have such really awesome people on the record.
Bah tu vois, ça c'est la preuve qu'on peut rencontrer ses idoles, parce que c'est pas forcément des connards, surtout si on n'est pas fan des Guns N' Roses, ça peut un petit peu aider. Bon, pour cet album là, j'ai vu que tu avais une façon assez sympa de le promouvoir, à savoir t'offrir un vinyle de ta discothèque à une personne ayant prouvé qu'elle avait précommandé l'album. On est d'accord, les vinyles que tu files, c'est juste parce que tu les as en double.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it was like, it's actually gotten out into the world way more than I anticipated. I thought I was just going to be able to keep it like to my social media things, and it would be so bad. But I've had a couple of people like criticize it and be like, oh, you're just trying to sell more records or do whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I love American Spring. I want everyone to hear it. And if this is a cool way to repay people for taking their hard-earned money and buying the record, then I want to reward them for it. So it's really cool. I did the first giveaway on Sunday, and I wrote to the person and I asked them their 3 favorite songs, what their favorite era of music is, and what time they like to listen to records. And you know, it was a really young woman who won it, and you know, she had like 2 Green Day songs that were her favorite songs, and she listens to music at night. So I picked for her last year's Model by Elvis Costello, and I thought, like, you should know where all this stuff that you love now comes from, you know? And so that's kind of my idea behind it. It's just find people that maybe I have a record in my collection that they wouldn't have heard before, and they can find out why they really love the music that they love now.
Franchement, t'as du courage de faire ça, parce que même si j'aime partager la musique, moi je pourrais jamais m'en séparer de mes vinyles.
It's hurting my heart to give away some of these, but I know that it's going to go to a new hand, and hopefully they'll think it's really cool.
Chris, dernière question avant de te laisser partir et peut-être aller te coucher. Fais pas semblant, hein, t'as beau avoir l'air en forme, à mon avis t'es un petit peu capoute. Qu'est-ce qui rock ta life?
What's rocking my life is the Mercure Hotel, and what's the
It's a Gare du Nord. It's a train station.
Yeah, it's the train station. Yeah, and so actually that was really cool because I'm a big Art Nouveau fan, and so to come and see, like, got out of the cab and the first thing I saw was the metro stop, and it's so Paris, and it's so beautiful, and so Paris is definitely rocking my world right now, and I'm hoping that I get to go outside at some point and I don't have to stay in here all day.
I'm gonna crush up my flat.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you. This was the best.